Hello, Market Club members everywhere. Jeremy Lutz here with your midday market update for Friday, the 12th of October. And it's Friday already. Seems like this week has just flown by. But we'll get right to it. Stocks have moved mostly lower today despite a higher opening this morning. Selling pressure has remained subdued. However, it is contributing to a choppy trading day on Wall Street. The major averages have climbed off their worst levels in recent trading but remain in the red. This downturn came despite the release of an upbeat report on the U.S. consumer sentiment in the month of October from Thomson Reuters and the University of Michigan. They said that their preliminary reading on their consumer sentiment index for October came in at 83.1 compared to the final September reading of 78.3. With a significant monthly increase, the consumer sentiment index rose to its highest level since September of 2007. Also today, traders are reacting on Wall Street to the quarterly results from J.P. Morgan and Wells Fargo, which have both moved to the downside today, even on positive news, but we'll take a look at those in minutes. And with that, if you haven't yet, strongly urge you to go over to the Traders blog and vote on our poll we had, what basically asked who you think won the vice presidential debate last night. There's quite a battle going on in the comments section there between the different sides. It's kind of fun. It's kind of like our own mini debate on there where we're having a really good conversation. So I urge you, if you haven't voted yet or read into it, head over to the Traders blog and check out that poll for today, and make sure you vote and comment as you see fit. But we'll get right into the 1 p.m. update and what our trade triangles are telling us. As you can see, we'll just start here with the Dow. Currently moved down to negative 70. Long-term traders are still long this market based on the green monthly trade triangle. Intermediate traders are sidelines, and short-term traders can be in a short position based on this weekly trade triangle we had on 10-10. Negative 70 score means that it's coming out of a trading range, and it looks like it may be building a strong trend to the downside. Moving along to the NASDAQ, much of the same case, negative 70. Long-term traders are still long this position based on the monthly green trade triangle. Intermediate term traders are in a sidelines position, and short-term traders can be in a short position if they so choose based on this negative 70 score and a daily and weekly down. S&P 500 actually issued, the other NASDAQ and the Dow had been negative on the weekly, and we were waiting for the S&P, and we finally got that 1430 level that we were looking to break. At 1430.53, we got our red weekly exit signal from a long position for intermediate term traders. However, long-term traders are still long for this position, and short-term traders now have the go to go short based on this weekly trade triangle signal as an entry point. Currently trading at 1427.11, down 0.39% for the day. And again, the markets opened up. I saw the Dow, it was up. All three markets were up, and then they just slowly came back to the negative side today. It kind of looks like we might finish the week out on the negative note, but we'll have to see how the day, as what I always call the magic hour between 3 and 4, and see what happens. Crude oil is a plus 65. Long-term traders are long this market based on the monthly green trade triangle. Intermediate and short-term traders are both on the sidelines based on this green daily triangle at 92.05. And oil's kind of moved up a little bit today, but it's kind of slid back on some bad news out of the Middle East that's going on there. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Euro USD, so currently plus 75. Still kind of boxed into this tight trading range here. Really hasn't made a move to the upside or the downside yet, so we're just kind of bouncing along. Intermediate and long-term traders are along this position. Short-term traders are presently on the sideline based on that red daily trade triangle at 1.293. Moving along to gold. Gold was moved into a plus 55. Intermediate long-term traders are still long this position, and we still fully expect gold after the elections within the next 6 to 12 months to move above that $2,000 range. Short-term traders are on the sidelines. Currently trading, it's down today about 0.52%, about $9 an ounce. Currently trading at 17.59.4. Move along to silver. Silver's giving us a reading of a negative 55. I believe yesterday, if you saw it, it was a plus 55. So it's kind of bouncing along in that trading range. After a big move up, you can kind of see here it's just kind of moving into a sidelines mode, and really hasn't established a significant trend either way. But long-term traders are still long this market. Intermediate and short-term traders are both on the sidelines based on this green daily trade triangle that triggered today. Yesterday, actually, I'm sorry, at 34.21. Currently trading 33.73, a little bit below that level from yesterday. But we'll have to see how this market picks up at the beginning of next week. Copper. Copper's up plus 55. Still green across the board. All time frames are along this position with appropriate money management stops. Currently down the day 1.29% at the $3.70 level. Still looking for this market to make a move up, but as you can see, it's kind of consolidating there. Really kind of in and out of a sidelines market. Just make sure you have your stops tight there. Moving along, JP Chase. Before the start of trading day, JP Morgan reported third quarter net income of $5.7 billion, or that equates to $1.40 per share, compared to $4.3 billion or $1.02 per share in the same quarter of last year. So a little bit of an increase there. Most analysts were expecting the company to earn about $1.21 a share, so they came in 21 cents ahead of where the analysts expected them to. The company also said revenues for the quarter rose $25.2 billion from $23.8 billion a year ago to exceeding the estimate of $24.5 billion, so almost a full billion up. They were there above what the analysts were expecting. And shares of JP Morgan have fallen the day since the recent results, although the drop comes after the stock reached a 5-month high. And as you can see, we actually issued a exit for short-term time frame traders to exit today at 41.30. It actually made a high yesterday of 42.64, which you can see was actually the highest point since back in May. Which was nice to see, but I'm kind of puzzled about the pullback today. Maybe some profit taking on the board, pulling some money out. Moving along to Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo also released third quarter numbers today for the start trading, reporting earnings that came in slightly above estimates, but on weaker than expected revenue. Shares dropped about 3.4% on the news. As you can see, it kind of fell off a cliff here. Even though it was positive news, it was still under what they were expecting. So you can kind of see when those expectations are put out there by the analysts, if you don't hit it, even if it is a positive number, it can still negatively affect what's going on. We actually issued a red weekly trade triangle today at 34.29, currently trading 34 flat, to go short this market on the short time frame. If you're intermediate term trader, you're now exited this position, and long term you're still holding a long position, but I stress to have proper money management in stock. And I believe yesterday I also mentioned that we might take a look at a 52-week high on a Friday rule. Even though the market's down today, you can still find ways to make money in these markets. So we'll just go ahead and hit Smart Scan here, which is right up here, and we want to change to a 52-week high. And I like to sort this. Right now you can see right here you have 174 charts that you would have to go through. That's a little tough to sort through, so we're gonna go greater than $10. I want million volume greater than $1 million. I'm looking for some liquidity, some protection to the individual investor. That way, things can be moved around by buying a big quantity of shares. It takes quite a bit to move a market with more than $1 million. And we're just going to look at the U.S. exchange. Hit scan there. Remember, our number is 174 charts, and we're now down to 21. So let's take a look at what we got here. Beazer Homes USA. I can kind of tell from the charts, kind of dropped off a little bit here. MPS Pharmaceuticals. My personal preference, I kind of stay away from pharmaceuticals. Looks like it had a little bit of a gap up there. Oshkosh had big, of course, the vehicle maker had some big news yesterday, big run up today, but a little bit of a pullback today. I was actually looking at that chart earlier. Flagstar Bancorp. Not really sure what they do. China Shanghai, looks like a big gap up there at some point in the last week or so. Ooh, here's a nice one. Virgin Media. You can actually see here. I'll just kind of draw this, kind of what I look at real quick here. See if we can't use Adam's drawing tool here. Looks like you had a nice base here, and has had a really nice, slow, steady move up there. There we go, to the up. And I can just kind of tell it looks like right around that level. It looks like we're pretty close to that 52-week high. So we'll close our screen here. And that's kind of the things I look at. I want to see a nice flowing chart myself. Moving averages are going the right way. But let's go ahead and we'll take a look at this chart here real quick and see what it's telling us. Now remember, you want a 52-week high roll on a Friday. You want it to close at or fairly close to that high. And as you can see here, we've got a 1-year chart. And there's our 52-week high. We're actually currently trading at 30.77. It was as high as 31.14 today, which, let's take a look at this high, 31.09. So we definitely hit a 52-week high today. We're plus 100. Looks like we had our monthly right here. Let's get this in here. Had our monthly right here. To go long this market on a long time frame, we got a nice cross right here of the 200-day moving average over a 50-day moving average, also known as a golden cross, and it's made a nice move up since then. So we're looking at this level right here. I would say if it closes somewhere, let's go back and take a look at what that is here. If we get in here, there we go. Clear the screen. Get back. There we go. 31.40. If we can get back up to say $30.90 or 31, somewhere in that range there, I think this would definitely be a go for a 52-week high on a roll. Of course, you'll want to buy this right before the market close. Put a buy order in. If it opens up Monday down, you're going to sell immediately. If it continues to rise, you're going to close on the open on Tuesday and take a nice little profit. But we'll be sure to revisit this on Tuesday. Tuesdays 1 p.m. We won't have a 1 p.m. update on Monday, as I'll be out of the office and Adam's actually traveling now. But we'll be sure to post something about the markets on Monday for you regardless. And then tune in Tuesday at 1 p.m. where I'll be back and we'll revisit this 52-week high for Virgin Media, and we'll see what the markets are doing early next week. Have a great weekend, everybody. Remember, go to the poll, vote, comment, read through the comments. We're having a great discussion there. And also be on the lookout for a special video on Sunday about some stocks and what the trade triangles can do for you. Other than that, have a great weekend, every success in your trading, and we'll see you next week.